a funny song. I wrote the whole thing. It took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months to write it because there's a lot of parts, and it was my first real kind of foray into sort of composing parts and things like that. But done on the 4-track that I was talking about before, that just recording and circling parts, and then going back and recircling, and then adding parts, and then listening and adding parts. And what came out was this song as a demo on my 4-track, which then I brought to the band. Then we completed it as a band, but it's essentially what I gave them on the 4-track originally.
Welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party, your weekly musical happy hour where musicians pick an album from their back catalog and tell the stories behind their favorite tracks in front of a live online audience.
This week we talk with Terry VanDeWalker, founding member of beloved jam band The Big Woo. The drummer, singer, and songwriter joins us from his home in Northfield, Minnesota to revisit the band's 2002 album, Spring Reverb. He talks about the unique sound of this record, captured by famed metal producer Bill Cutler, and how it showcases the band's elaborate arrangements and tight harmonies. So pour a beverage, grab a snack, and kick back as we get lost in the music together here on the Back Catalog Listening Party, where it's always Friday and old albums never sounded better. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
And welcome to the Back Catalog Listening Party. My name is Mother Banjo, one of your hosts.
My name is Anthony Ihrig, the other host.
And today we have joining us Terry VanDeWalker from The Big Woo.
Hi, guys.
Woo!
Welcome, Terry.
Yeah. And Terry, where are you joining us from tonight?
I'm in Northfield, Minnesota, the home of
Nice.
St. Olaf and Carleton colleges.
Nice. Well, I don't know how the weather is, so far down south from us, but it's pretty glorious today in the Twin Cities.
Beautiful day.
Yeah.
Yeah. After that heat wave and all the smoke, it just feels like 70. Perfect. And looks like Christopher was first to the party. So going to be a fun show today. Enjoying some Chardonnay and some blue crab salad in Minnesota. Ooh, that sounds
fancy.
Good. Very fancy. And then Connie sending greetings from Richfield.
Hey, Connie.
And Tony and I joining from South Minneapolis. And as I said, it's beautiful weather. And I poured myself a kind of fancy drink. I got some mead that was came from someone from my husband's work brought it back, and so I'm enjoying some mead, and it's lovely.
Back from the Middle Ages, perhaps?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so it's fermented honey. It's sweet and delightful. So
Perfect.
in my
Nice.
fancy glass.
Cheers.
Tony, what are you enjoying?
I'm trying something new. I'm trying the Patagonia Provisions. It's an organic IPA that is brewed with something called Kernza, which I had never heard before. And apparently it's a soil-saving, carbon-capturing perennial grain. And I'm enjoying it here in my Back Catalog Listening Party podcast.
Oh, it looks real sweet in that.
Yeah.
That's awesw We're getting fancy today. Normally
right.
it's like the box of wine is just, through the spigot,
How about you, Terry? Are you enjoying any beverages or snacks tonight?
Running late, didn't realize it was a happy hour kind of thing. Somebody is getting me some. It's going to be amber, and it's going to have ice, and it's going to be in a short glass.
Perfect.
All the things I like.
Well, we have extended music selections, so Ellen knows this as a DJ. That always gives you a chance to, freshen up your glass.
Exactly.
Run away quickly, yes.
Exactly. And Joe joining, ready for the Big Woo here in Minneapolis with a Bell's Two-Hearted Ale securely within my reach. So he's ready. He doesn't have to go anywhere. So if you are joining us for the live taping on YouTube, tell us where you're tuned in from. And if you're enjoying a beverage or a snack, this is our weekly musical happy hour where we invite some of our favorite artists on to revisit their old records. And tonight, Terry is carrying the torch for the whole band of the Big Woo. And many folks, especially in the Midwest region, will be familiar with the Big Woo. Terry, maybe you could give a little bit of your background about like where you grew up, how you fell into making music, and more specifically, came to be in this band.
Long story short, part of a musical family, of course. It's a similar story that a lot of people have, but my parents were singers, and my mom played piano, and grandma was a choir opera singer. So a lot of music growing up. Had a lot of garage bands growing up. I played drums since I was pretty small, and just bashed the heck out of the drums for many, many, many years. I can't believe my parents allowed me to do that, but I practiced for the 3 or 4 hours a day, every day type thing. Started bands when I was in maybe 12 or 13 in the neighborhood. Just kind of enjoy the camaraderie, of creating music, and had some recording equipment. My dad is an airline pilot for Northwest, was flying to Japan a lot, and would bring back a lot of gear, a lot of recording equipment, 4 tracks and 2 tracks and microphones. And so I got really interested in overdubbing at a young age and kind of putting together and arranging vocal arrangements and harmonies. So I always had that knack for that. It's something I really enjoyed to do, and then enjoyed doing. And then went to college. Went to St. Olaf in 1991 and started the Big Woo the fall of '91. In the very first few days that we were there, we ended up starting the band with Chris Castino and Jason Flatiron and I. Jason's no longer in the band, but had a good run with us. But Chris and I are still going. But yeah, when I started when I was 18, and I'm 53, so that's how long.
Wow.
Nice.
I've been at it. I mean, some would maybe say it's time to hang it up, but I still enjoy drumming, and I still enjoy singing and writing. So yeah, and that's the short, long story of that.
Awesome. Well, we still enjoy listening, and that's what it's all about here. And you have a big discography, and the record we're going to listen to today, Spring Reverb, goes all the way back to 2002. We'd love to know why you picked this record.
Yeah, I mean, it's one would say, like, is it the most rockin', or is it the best art, or to me, the reason why I picked it, I think it's the way that we recorded at Pachyderm. I think, to me, it's the most kind of accurate audio sound of the Big Woo that we had maybe to date. But I mean, with the records we did other than this one, they just maybe lacked a little, I don't know, pizzazz or something. But there's something about the way this record got recorded, the pre-production we did, and the work we did on it. Actually put a lot of work into it, and I think the results show. Just the sonic structure of that record is really, to me, it just kind of captures all of our kind of the lows of the lows, and the highs of the treble, the bass, and the highs. It's just all there. Some of the other records are great records, great songs, but maybe just missed the mark a bit, just on the mixing and aspect, or maybe the way we recorded it. But this one is a great example of it sounds really great. Bill Cutler, a San Francisco producer, came in and produced it. So it's just, to me, it's just kind of quintessential, the best sounding studio record, I think, in my opinion, that we have. Not necessarily maybe the best songs or whatever, fan favorites. Certainly Kangaroo is on a different record, but this one I just think sounds great. So
awesome.
I picked it. Yeah.
Well, we geek out about that here. We love it, and Pachyderm's no stranger to this program. We've had a lot of records that have been recorded there, produced there, and man, they have great sounding rooms. So when you put that together with good sound and great musicians,
right.
It's extra special. Yeah,
we've recorded other records there too, but it's funny because that one, the other one that we completed there, was self-produced by us. It just doesn't. It sounds good. Great songs, great recordings. Having Bill on that project really, the pre-production work that we did and all that stuff. It really comes through on that record. So again, I give a shout out to Bill. He's hopefully he can hear this, or I'll send him to this. But he loves the Big Woo. But he did a great. He put us through the ringer. But it was just a lot of fun to make. I mean, it was a lot of work. Certainly, but it was great to make a record. It felt like we were doing it kind of the professional way that you would make a real record, and we pulled it off somehow out of our butt.
Awesome. Well, before we dive in, since we're pulling this thread, I would love to know a little bit more about who Bill is and how he got pulled into this project.
Well, funny thing is, Bill is his brother John was a Grateful Dead front of house sound man for many years. And Bill is kind of I think he's an older brother, New York kids, Manhattan, Bronx or Brooklyn or wherever they're from, but he's out in San Francisco. Well, Bill was more of a metal kind of guy, and kind of Americana. He's kind of in with the David Nelson's side of it, that sort of Flying Burrito Brothers was, he wasn't Grateful Dead, but so there's some connection between John Cutler and Bill Cutler, and then maybe he started seeing. I'm not exactly sure how Bill got into our orbit, but he was just suddenly was there. It was like, and he's a producer, and he said, "I want to produce, the Big Woo. I want to produce you guys." And so
Nice.
it ended up being that. But he's not necessarily in the Grateful Dead sphere like his brother certainly was, but he was there. He was kind of very Big Woo. It's like, kind of like 1 foot sort of in there, but not quite all the way.
Yeah.
Something unique, which I love.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Well, and that sounds appropriate because you guys sort of touch a bunch of different genres. So
that's what I'm getting at. Yeah.
Yeah. So, well, I can't wait to get a taste of the music. So the first track that you picked to feature tonight is, I feel like this is really going to get us in the zone of the Big Woo.
I think so.
What can you, is there anything you want to say about this track before we take a listen?
A funny song, I wrote the whole thing. It took me, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 months to write it, because there's a lot of parts, and it was my first real kind of foray into sort of composing parts and things like that, but done on the 4-track that I was talking about before, that just keep recording and circling parts, and then going back and recircling, and then adding parts, and then listening and adding parts. And what came out was this song as a demo on my 4-track, which then I brought to the band, and then we completed it as a band. But it's essentially what I gave them on the 4-track originally, and that's kind of how it's recorded. The parts are exactly the same lengths and things like that. So that's the background. It's been in our repertoire for a long time, but yeah, it's fan favorite. I'd say it's a long one. It's a jammer, but a lot of people seem to be touched by lyrically and musically too, I guess, melody wise. As a matter of fact, we were in Baracqua on Saturday, and I had someone come up and tell me that we played it at the gig, and she said, "I'm so glad that's my favorite song." I was like, and a lot. I was like, that's cool, because a lot of people say Kangaroo's my favorite song. Like, well, why don't you play that song? It's like, well, I didn't write that one, but
well, you did write this one, and we're so excited to kick off our hour with the Big Woo with Southern Energy here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
those guitars just swinging on our hands, stirring up the angels dead and gone. The conversations I heard on the wind. I was talking to you last night. Your hair and smile were hanging down. We laughed out loud all the while. Smiles came every time.
Well, it could have been longer than 8 minutes, and I would have been on board. Like, how long did you play before that faded out? Like,
Probably played. I mean, I think we had an idea it would fade out. I don't know, maybe 16 more measure or bars or whatever. Yes.
Yeah.
I imagine it just went on for another 30
Well,
minutes.
I think, Bill, to his credit, I mean, it's a jam band, whatever the heck that means. But I think he had to try to rein us in, so I'm sure he had something timed out. Like, yeah, it'd be a good time to start fading it out here, right, guys? Like, okay.
Well, just an epic song. I mean, I it didn't feel like it was 8 minutes and 43 seconds because there was so much going on. I felt like we went on a journey through, like you mentioned, there was different parts, there's different time signatures, there's all kinds of things happening. And just as a former drummer myself, I would love to kind of hear like what your composition process is like, as someone who's not sitting maybe you were sitting on a melodic instrument. I don't know. Were you like, how do you write? How do you approach this kind of stuff?
That's the, guitar and piano are primarily the things. I believe on that one it was guitar. So the little harmony line, I mean, those melodies sort of were in there probably before, maybe at the basis of just writing that chord structure before lyrics. But that basis of those chords, just that little harmony line, that probably was, I mean, it's a long time ago, but I'm sure that was the bass piece. And I went, okay, I can work with that. And then off the tonic is the E, and so that's where the verses came. But I mean, that would be the process as easy as I can explain it. It's one of those tunes too that like I worked really a lot of hours just recording a section. So that, let's say that beginning section, and then listening to it, and then getting an idea over with some coffee, and then adding to it, and then re-recording the whole thing again, and then keep doing that over and over until after a while we had an 8 minute. Had the changes came in, but I would sit and listen. I would record it and then re-record it and then listen to it again and then add another part. It's kind of how that process went down, but mainly on the guitar. I mean, I'm not I'm a chordy guitar player. I'm not a shredder, but really interested in melody, harmony are big for me. So guitar harmonies on there for sure. And that's the big hallmark of the Big Woo is having not just vocal harmonies. That's been a big part of it for us too. But I love harmony, melody and harmony for sure. So a lot of those harmonies you're hearing are just stuff that I would come up with, and I said, hey guys, I think it should go like this, and they would play it. So the guitar lines were written by me, and the vocal lines of course in harmonies. But I mean, I'm not really sure how to answer that question as far as like my process. I think it's different. That one just took a while because it's so long.
Yeah.
That was insightful.
Come out at one time.
No, insightful.
And it sounds like I think there's like an assumption with a lot of folks that like, like jam bands, they come up with their parts by jamming along, and like, the idea that this was so composed. I mean, the way you describe it, it's it's in a way a more classical approach, like, writing really sections, and the band learned it and played it. And I actually felt that in this song, because it felt like a suite, like there were different like movements almost, and then it would come back to the theme, and and what a sing-alongable chorus too. Like I could have just sung with that for days and days. So
a fun one for sure. You're right though. It is. I mean, I don't sit around and listen to Big Woo very often, so probably haven't listened to it from front to back like that in a very, very long time, probably. So thank you for, I mean, it's like, and you see what I mean by this sonically and audio, the production value of that record. You can hear it. And that's, again, to answer your question before, that's why. I mean, you can hear, not all of our records sound like that. They're close, but that one it's just got the cherry on top for sure. And you
beautifully recorded.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Did you do that on the analog tape down there, or were you?
Yep. They had
2002.
Yeah, they had two 24-track studios, but then they still have Pro Tools, so you record to analog, and then it rips into digital. But yes, the basics were all recorded on analog. I still think that's how they do it. Then you just transfer it over to Pro Tools, so you can edit there. But everything is originally normally. It just sounds. I think you can tell.
It sounds.
And I'm sure that's how they still do it down there.
Yeah.
I mean, even though it is Pro Tools all over, good places, good studios still like that tape for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's funny because I feel like this, not only does it sound good, like Tony said, you could hear like all the detail and all those intricate musical parts, and the vocals sounded so good. But also there was it definitely had like kind of a throwback feel. Like some of the sections I was like, oh, is this like the 70s? Or, like it just had a really lovely classic vibe. And although not much music in the 70s quite sounded like that, I will say that. But I mean, there were just sections that just had that warmth, right? That analog
For sure.
warmth that I think is so great.
Hey there, would you like to be part of the live show? Well, become a member of the Back Catalog Listening Party Patreon, and you'll get a backstage pass to weekly online tapings where you can ask the artist questions and participate in the live chat with a fun community of like-minded music nerds. You'll also get a first look at upcoming guests and receive invitations to special live streams and private after parties. So join the party today at patreon.com/Back Catalog Listening Party.
If you just tuned in to the Back Catalog Listening Party, we're talking with Terry VanDeWalker from the Big Woo about their album Spring Reverb, which came out in 2002. And we just heard, you've only missed one song, but it was an epic one, Southern Energy. So you have to go back and listen to it if you missed it. But a song that Terry wrote, and was that you on the lead vocals?
Yes.
On that track? And then, and tell us who else. Again, you mentioned the members of the band, but tell us again who's playing what on that track.
On this one, it's Chris Castino and Jason Flatiron on guitars. Realized in there that Dean McGraw,
Nice.
some of those guitar, the little kind of rubber bandy sort of candy-ish, that was Dean, and I completely forgot. So he needs props on that too. So those three guitar players, and Andy Miller on bass, and Al Ihrig on the keys. And I'm sure, and again, listening back, it's so funny. Bill's such a little tricky little guy, because it's like I'm hearing some stuff in the back that I know when he went back and mixed it and mastered it in San Francisco, he just he didn't have to ask, but I could hear a different. It's like I didn't know that was there. Like I don't. Knocked a little like flip clap or something, using Oz in the back, but it's so yeah, and Bill producing it. So that
it sounds fantastic.
Yeah, and nice to hear our good friend Dean. He's been on the show at least twice, so we're big fans of Dean here at the Back Catalog Listening Party.
I knew you guys were.
We just had that aura about
a
us.
fan
I
of
mean,
Dean
really. I mean, I would have Dean play on every record if I could. So well, again, this is sounding great. We were chatting during that tune behind the scenes, and Terry said, because I was like, do you still have CD copies of this album? And he's like, I have to check, so we'll let you know about that if we find out more. But if you can get this on CD, I know you can find it sometimes some places online. Of course, the best way is to get it from the band. So if you go see them live, check it out and find out if they have the CD and buy it from them directly. But if you can get the high res files or the get a CD, do it, because you'll be transported.
Sounds great.
Just listen on the headphones. Well, we're going to try and get to a few more tunes here before the hour's up. The next track you picked to feature is Irregular Heartbeat. Is there anything you want to say about this before I take a listen?
Again, this is kind of giving it up to Chris, a great songwriter in his own right. Somebody I look up to a lot when it comes to just the way he arranges and writes. The one I really like about this song is, again, I'm a harmony kind of merchant, and this one, there's a bridge on this, the Regular Heartbeat bridge, which again just is so fun to arrange these types of things with Chris, to work these through, and then I think it came through on the record itself. But one of my favorite just tracks that he tracked his main vocals, but all the harmonies that go behind it. I think it's a lot about the Big Woo. There's a lot of jam bands out there that jam but they don't sing, and that was one of our thing. It was like we'll jam too, but not for the sake of singing. And so there's a lot of harmonies we have a prioritize on vocal harmonies for sure. But I just think this is a song that really highlights some of the stuff that we could do when we were in a studio working together.
Awesome. All right, everybody, let's give special attention to these harmonies. Put your headphones on, turn it up, get your speakers cranked. This is Irregular Heartbeat from the Big Woo here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
Up on a shelf, so what? I call that the best seat in the house. Left for a goner, not quite. Left to the wolves in the night. Please tell me if I've gone wrong, but I want you to be here next to me. Think of my arms at night, how they long to hold you tight. With an irregular heartbeat, so fast when I'm near you. Back on the track and true blue, all of my highs have led me to this place. Cars all packed, so let's go. We'll leave at the end of the show. How many songs have I sung, looking for the sound that tears the heart? Well, here I am on the stage with this song, witnessing a love so strong. With an irregular heartbeat, so fast when I'm near you. Tears from the smoke of the Bluebird bar. I close my eyes and there you are. Stay in my mind till the morning wakes me. I'll stay in your hand and go where it takes me. To live like a man, so strong, I hold what I can until it weighs me down. But you let in the sun, and now I'm the lucky one. With an irregular heartbeat, so fast when I'm near you. When I'm near you.
Lovely. The Big Woo with Irregular Heartbeat from their 2002 album Spring Reverb, which we are revisiting today on the back catalog listening party with one of the founding members joining us today, Terry VanDeWalker. And folks are loving the music. And we also got a question from Chris. He said, I've always wondered How do the players keep track of where a jam song is when it's their turn to jump in, i.e. The Dead, All My Brother's Fish? Maybe it's still 8, 12, 16 bars to keep track of. Do you have trouble? You're a drummer, so you don't have trouble counting probably, but
that is a great question. So I had my my aunt over the 4th of July. She asked me the same question, and I think it's like, improvisation. Um, it's like, yes, it's open ended, but also there is like, we do have some constraints on it too. So it must fit into a 16 or 32, something that divides by 2, because I can only count to 2, and so it has to be 8, 16, 32, or 64. But you're feeling it for sure. But there are certain parts that even the improvisation has some guardrails. Too, sometimes, not all the time, but so how do we keep track? I'm not sure. I think when you find that, when you maybe you get lucky and maybe you're playing it a little bit out of maybe yourself or what the band is, you kind of find, going off that cliff together, you can find some kind of cool moments, of course, in improvisation. But I do think that having some idea of where we're trying to get to is important as well. It's the journey to get somewhere. It's not just the journey. You've got to end it. You've got to stop get back to a theme, perhaps, maybe, or something like that. But yeah, good question. And maybe not even answerable. I'm not really.
Well, I got to imagine playing with the same people for an extended period of time. I've had this experience with friends and relatives and bands I've been in for a long period of time. It's not like you're literally reading each other's minds. It's more that you've spoken the same language long enough that you can kind of finish each other's sentences. Do you feel like that plays a part in that intuition?
I'm sure it does. Yes, and I can't say for certain, but yeah, I mean, maybe an unwritten thing. Yes, if someone playing a musical phrase, we know when they're done saying that phrase, and so we would pick, come in behind that. But yeah, you're right. Probably being together and having that intuition certainly helps. Not sure it's something that we can even put a pin in and say that's what it is, but I mean, even the bass player and I mean, we've been playing for a long time together. So if you just think about a rhythm section that's played, I don't know, a couple thousand shows or whatever it is, you're probably going to get pretty tight, or at least relatively tight, just by doing that amount of shows together. So there's a lot of that. Just I mean, through the process of living in a van and being in a tour bus and in hotels with these guys, and then playing music, it's all part of it, I'm sure, for sure. And then I'm sure that helps the improvisation. So yes, where we know where people maybe are headed, or sometimes maybe you don't. And again, I don't want to say that we don't just go for it either. But I do, as a kind of an arranger and a songwriter, I'm always, and I'm drumming, I'm always thinking about sort of, okay, where's the exit ramp here? and trying to get everybody, but it's difficult on the drums because I don't have an instrument to say, let's go to this chord or whatever. So I just try to lay that down for the guys so that we can all get to that exit ramp together, and it works. And most of the time. All the time.
Well, after 35 years, if my math is correct, of playing with a lot of the same cohort, it's no wonder that you found a rhythm, pun intended.
Sure.
But I'd be curious. You've put out a lot of records, as you said, played thousands of shows all over the place. And I know when I moved to the Twin Cities in 2001, you guys were like, it took me a hot second of picking up like the city pages to realize, oh, the Big Woo. That's like the center of one of the centers of the local music scene. And so I've, known your music for a long time. It's like been part of the air. But I'd be curious from your perspective as someone who's in the band, are there, other than of course writing fresh songs, are there other things that you've done to sort of, keep it fresh? And, I know that there might be a new album in the works. So is that kind of how you, keep things lively?
Absolutely. And I think also, I think for me, my practice would be to try to play with, when I'm not playing with the Big Woo, to try to play with other people as well, and try to bring some of those, always trying to play with different people. Yeah. And even at the Big Woo, when we were going, when we were off the road, I was still making records or playing gigs with people in Minneapolis, Kevin Malone. I mean, 12 Rods guys. You know, I made some records with Ryan and Ev, and so it was like trying to kind of like maybe get away from the Big Woo for when we were on the road. So when I came back, we could kind of keep it. That was my sort of take on it. You know, everybody else is different, but I know that Chris has a solo career as well. I mean, he's done his own records. I think we all kind of can't get away from music too far, but maybe try to push yourself into some places that when you do return back to Big Woo, you can bring back some perspective and hopefully, you know, maybe play different changes or play something that you played forever differently, or, you know, kind of challenge yourself in that way. And that's something that I've always been a part of. I mean, I always try to play music with, I don't say no, I probably should say no more, but but I kind of enjoy it. I enjoy the challenge of and then hopefully when I come back to the Big Woo, I'm bringing something back to it that maybe they haven't heard, or a lick or something, some approach.
Yeah, that's great. I just referenced this, but are you, is there anything you can tell us about this new record that's in the works with the Big Woo?
Well, we've talked about recording, and Chris has got a million songs. Of course, he's a song hoarder, and you know, and he's kind of coy about it. You know, I've only got like 10 or 12 over here. So he's always got songs, but I think it's just like kind of finding that right now we're trying to go through the songs and find the right ones that we think are Big Woo songs. Because certainly I write songs that aren't Big Woo songs, and Chris writes songs that aren't Big Woo songs. But let's go through the songs and play them, and maybe just get a cohort of songs together that are Big Woo. That's Big Woo material. And so it's fun to go through. And Andy Miller, the bass player, he brings music. Of course, Mark Joseph. Been in the band now for a long time. I mean, I want to get it wrong, but I want to say 15 years maybe. He does his own solo record, so he's got a lot of material. But again, it's like, is it Big Woo material? It's like, that's the real question. And just to be honest with people. And so we're trying to gather those tunes, and once we do, then we'll go in and start cutting new tunes. And that's what we need to do. I mean, we've been on our own. We're our own worst enemy when it comes to just you get comfortable, but you gotta work, and we gotta put out. I mean, it's time for us to release something new. I mean, we're listening to something 24 years old over here. So.
Oh, but it sounds good. This is what we live for here on the back catalog.
Revisiting it. Is there anything that's coming to your mind listening back to this that you hadn't anticipated before you put this on?
But I don't know. Just still going back to what you said, though, like I haven't heard like Southern Energy, for example, or even Irregular Heartbeat, or this record. Like I don't sit around and listen to Big Woo. So it's nice to hear it, like to know that we did it and we worked hard on it, and I'm proud to have that behind me, behind my name and stuff, and that's pretty cool. I don't think about it a lot, but when you hear it out there and you hear what we did, it's like, yeah, we did that, and that's good, and kind of
which is good. I mean, it's funny after 300 episodes here on the back catalog listening party. We can say that we've seen all different kinds of reactions from people listening to their own old records, and mostly positive. But every once in a while, you'll get these like moments. But I think this is an album just that it will always work. Again, it has a sort of timeless quality that and listening today on a 70-degree day. I know it's called Spring Reverb, but this feels very sunshiny. So far, but I know we have a couple more tracks to listen to. So let's get to the next one, which is Flatiron Suite. And is there anything you want to say about this one?
It's another Chris tune, one of my favorites. It's just a great story song. And another, Jeff Austin from Yonder Mountain String Band, him and Chris made a record years ago, and Jeff was one of our biggest fans, and every time we played with Jeff, this is the tune that we had to play. And I don't believe the mandolin on there is Jeff, but it's just a shout out to him, and maybe good times from long ago is kind of how I remember it.
Awesome. Let's give it a spin. This is Flatiron Suite from the Big Woo here on the back catalog listening party.
Listen to the flag. to the sky. Above the route the owls fly. To believe in superstition doesn't make one less a Christian. 3 times we must repeat. Long live the hills of France. Who by chance was I to meet? A soul that knew my heart complete. She taught me an old folk dance, and I taught her the Flatiron Suite. The men came straight across the sea to boldly meet their destiny. In the forests of Arcadia, it's there I miss her constantly. Tonight the lake is dark and calm, like the empty pews of Notre Dame. With livid all the left behind, we trap and trade the Lawrence line. So gentlemen, another verse before my voice gets any worse, before the wood gets any drier, catches on the creeping fire. Keep the embers burning bright, straight on through the longest night. 3 times we must repeat. Long live the hills of France. Long live the hills of France. Long may they live in the hills of France.
All right. The Big Woo with Flatiron Suite. And not only was that Mando pretty sweet, but was that strings or keyboard beds? What was that? That
Keyboard
was
tech,
amazing.
keyboard stuff. Yeah, I'll agree on that. Yeah, for sure. Again, not a ton of harmony on that. I didn't realize it, but just a story song. Again, just giving props to Chris. He writes a lot of songs like that, but just he's a great story writer, and I think it's just a wonderful sort of package that one.
Yeah. Beautiful tune.
Sounds really great. And if it sounds great to you, you'll want to check out more of the Big Woo's music by going to thebigwoo.com. You can check out their albums, their tour dates. You can get in touch with them so you can find out. You can say, I heard Terry on back catalog. Do you still have CD copies of Spring Reverb? And they can tell you. And they'll probably say, come to a show. So you'll want to check that out for sure. And Chris chimed in the chat, said, any Big Woo cameos planned for Cafe Caribe at the Minnesota State Fair?
Possibly. I mean, that's a Mark Joseph gig. He's been doing that forever, but we always, we'll pop in there. There'll be pop-ins.
Poppin'.
Yeah.
So always a lot of great music at the Minnesota State Fair. So you can check that out. But before we dive into the last song here, I do want to take a moment to thank all the folks that make this show possible. And we have been doing this show for 6.5 years. Wow. Over 300 episodes, thanks to these folks who have stepped up, kept the party going for all this time. They get invites to all the live tapings. So they're the folks chiming in with the questions a lot of the time. And we're so grateful that they want to hang out with a bunch of music nerds and just talk about music. So let's give it up for Penny, Ann, Alinda, Bevan, Connie, Vaughn, Alan, Chris, Becky, Peggy, Joe, Jim, Beverly, John, Tim, Sarah, David, Jocelyn, Matt, Steve, Mark, Severin, Mary, Nikki, Joni, David, CJ, Christy, Diane, Hetty, Sandy, Neighbor Ann, BZ, Paul, Cynthia, Ross, Mike, Eric, Phil, Ryan, and maybe you. If you want to join our mighty crew of supporters and you want to spend an hour every week just hanging out with great artists, listening to their songs, asking questions, I will say it's best hour of the week.
It's cheaper than therapy, folks. It does it every week for me. I used to listen to music as a kid and do nothing at the same time, and that's what we do here. We only listen to music for an hour and engage in it. It's active listening and it's with other people, which makes it so special. So, I just want to also thank all of our Patreon supporters for getting us past 300. If you act now, I did look, we do still have a few of our pint glasses that we will send to anybody who joins the Patreon soon. You can see my glass is empty because that's always how good the episode was. So this has been a fantastic episode, and Terry, we thank you so much for hanging out with us.
Absolutely. And it's my pleasure to be on
fun.
This thing with you guys. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, this is super fun. And we're, again, if you are enjoying the episode as much as we are, first of all, if you're tuned into the live taping, if you have any last minute questions for Terry about this project or anything else Big Woo related, feel free to throw it in while he's still with us. And if you're listening to the podcast and you're enjoying the music, make sure you like it, review it, share it with a friend, but most importantly, subscribe so we can let you know about what's coming up on next week's episode, because we drop new episodes every Friday, and because we want to keep that party going every weekend. And Connie chimed in to say, what a fun show. Thanks for a day brightener. And I agree. Sure. This has been real special. The Back Catalog Listening Party is brought to you by EFS Publicity. Founded by veteran publicist, promoter, DJ, and musician Ellen Stanley, EFS brings an artist's perspective to the table, working to help clients get to the next level in their career. Services include national and international media campaigns, radio promotions, tour press, crowdfunding, grant writing, and more. Get a quote or set up a consultation today at efspublicity.com. We're going to end with this last tune, Break of Day, which actually opens the record. Is there anything you want to say about this one?
Just another fan favorite. That this one is that's kind of why I wanted to bookend it with this one, but a lot of requests for this one. We play live, and if you know, you know. So
they will soon.
Yes, and after this episode, you will know as well. We're going to close out the show with "Break of Day" from the Big Woo here on the Back Catalog Listening Party.
The rebound off the lake, sweep the waves across the wake. They will rise and they will break. Gonna fix a break of day. Back and crack your tail. Spark the wire made of hay. emotions to the wind when it comes back where it's been. Draw the curtain all the way. Gonna fix the break of day. Skies of gray, gonna fix the break of day.
Oh, come on, people. Channel those vibes. Have that bring you through your whole weekend.
My head's still bobbing.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I can see why that's a fan favorite. And now we're all in the know. So you all know Break of Day. And it's what leads off this great record that we've been enjoying for the last hour, Spring Reverb by The Big Woo. It came out in 2002. If you can find a CD copy, get it. Yeah. And again, you can reach out to the band at thebigwoo.com. You can check out albums, gigs, all the good stuff right there. And Joe's just chimed in to say, love it. Has the exuberance of a Crosby, Stills, and Nash tune. And it's just like,
compliment.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, that vocal stack that you were talking about. And just, has this warm, like a warm, groovy blanket. Yeah, I'm into it.
That's on brand. Yes.
Warm, groovy blanket. That's
yes.
your new quote, your press quote. Yeah. And got another. Thank you, Terry, for your music, and BCLP for the show. Well, thank you all for listening and for all the lovely comments. And Terry, most of all, thank you for spending an hour with us. What a treat.
No, thank you, Anthony, Mother Banjo. Wow, what a privilege it is to be on the show. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, this was great, and we know you have a huge back catalog, so hopefully we'll get you and on the show another time down the line here.
So. Great,
yeah,
anytime.
Awesome.
Love to talk music with nerds like you.
You're in the right spot, man. Yeah.
We love it.
So
And
glad you picked this record. This
Yes.
is great. I'm so glad we got to hear your tune, and it sounded fantastic. And like Ellen said, if you're if you're a fan of really well produced music, go find the high res version of this, because I get the privilege of hearing it direct from the source. It's not compressed in any way, and it sounds so good. And if you haven't listened to uncompressed music in a while, you're gonna you're gonna be really excited to hear what high res files sound like, what CDs sound like. And if you don't have a CD player, you just have to go to the live show.
yeah, and I was going to say that's the most uncompressed is if you go to a live show. There'll be no compression and lots of good vibes. Well, thank you, Terry, for sharing the good vibes with us on this Friday. And to all of you out there, go out there, support live music, buy the records, all the stuff, and of course subscribe here to the Back Catalog Listening Party, because we'll be back next week with another episode. Thank you so much, folks.
All right, cheers, everybody. See you next
Cheers.
week.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining us on the Back Catalog Listening Party. If you like what you hear, please subscribe to the podcast and leave a review, which helps more people discover our show and our guests.
And do you want to be a part of the live show, get a first look at upcoming guests, and receive invites to private online parties and live streams? Then join our Patreon community at backcataloglisteningparty.com.
Have a great week. We'll see you back here next Friday for another edition of the Back Catalog Listening Party.